Okay. What were we talking about before there were technical difficulties?
Well, we were talking about SummerSlam and our likes and enjoyments of such, and I think the only thing that we didn't get to. Oh, okay. So there's two things that I think two great things about SummerSlam. I liked the women's title change. I thought that was
Yep.
cool. Love
I
me a
thought that
good
was cool too.
cash in.
Yep.
Uh, and I gotta say it, wrestling fans, aficionados, and fanatics, we got to admit Logan Paul's pretty good at this stuff.
Logan Paul is good at wrestling.
He
My
really is.
nephew, who sort of he hasn't watched wrestling in a couple of years, he goes, I said, "Is Logan Paul on wrestling now?" I was like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
And he goes, "Is he any good though?" I was like, "He's actually really good." And he is. There's no other way around it. Like his critics will say, "Okay, but he's these matches that we see of Logan Paul, like he's practicing these over and over and over
Mhm.
again." And my response is, "So
Yep.
they're still good." Every match you see on NXT is practiced for a week, and
Yeah.
I don't see many of those coming out like a Logan Paul match.
No, it was a great match. And like you say, part of the fun of this whole deal is suspending your disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are watching a Logan Paul match, maybe you don't think about that. That's, perhaps you just watch it and go, wow, that was neat. And oh,
Wow,
geez, they almost killed each
flying!
other. Oh, wow, that was fun. And then I got to say, like, I've always been a sucker for the brass knucks because, like,
Yep.
no, I don't know, like, I didn't grow up on the streets. Okay. I did not have a tough upbringing or anything. But when you see what brass knuckles can actually do to a human face,
Mm-hmm.
like, there is a reason that you only see brass knuckles in professional wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Like nobody else is like in UFC, no one's slipping some brass knucks in, like it's just not happening because they will destroy. So I've always been a big sucker for the brass knucks. And he slid those things into his trunks like he had done it 100 times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and
He
that's like one of
probably
those
did, but
things like that's one of those things where it's like, that the way he did it, he just gets it. He
yeah,
gets the performance part of it. He got how to make it obvious he was hiding the foreign object. It was obvious to the fans,
yeah.
but still hiding it from the ref.
Yeah, he
You
didn't
know?
take it to that level that a lot of like part-time celebrity kind of people do, which is the
Mm-hmm.
the big over exaggerated sell or the whatever. Like he
Yeah.
is good at wrestling in the
He
context of
is
wrestling.
he's good at wrestling. And I actually really enjoyed the finish of that match because that entire match was Ricochet and Logan Paul doing Ricochet and Logan Paul things,
Yeah,
flying around the ring, doing cool stuff. Thought it was a really fun match. But the end, after
yeah,
all that fancy stuff, just
yeah.
a punch to the face with like
Right?
what a dirty heel way to win. Like there was two heel things about it. One was the brass knucks, but the other was that it was just a punch to the face. Like
Yep.
after trying each guy trying to outdo the other one in terms of high flying, Logan Paul, the dirty heel, just says, I just need breath and I punch him. Yeah. Like for some reason I found that simple finish after such fanciful match. Yes, a
Uh-huh.
fanciful match. I just thought that was great. That was
Wow, that was
some
abrupt.
storytelling there.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a very I don't know who helped them put together that match or who agented it, as they
Mhm.
say. But whoever it was, like, great job on all three of them.
Oh
Just
yeah.
just
Oh
making those
yeah.
those moments. The only unbelievable moment in the whole thing was I refuse to believe that any of the color commentators could actually identify someone from Logan Paul's group of friends to be like, "Who's that? They're part of Logan's crew. They're part of." Come on, you barely know which one Logan is.
um so it's funny. I watched his brother's boxing fight with Nate Diaz later that night.
Yeah,
Uh
very few flips in that one. They
yeah,
also did
very
not
few.
use as many foreign objects.
Well, we don't know.
Mm.
Who knows what was in those boxing gloves? But I'd never seen Jake Paul box before. Like I just something about
Mm.
the Triller big events has just never appealed to me. But I wanted to see this, And yeah, Jake Paul was just a better boxer than Nate Diaz. And I thought, like, these guys are just freak athletes. They're just really good at athletic stuff.
They're like Brock Lesnar split in two and turned into huge assholes. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, it was so funny though, because right at the end of the Jake Paul fight, I'm just scanning the crowd, and there's Logan Paul in full gear, who I had seen wrestle at Ricochet. And like, I had known that he was supposedly going to show up or whatever, but I didn't expect him. He was in his wrestling gear, like his and just walking around with his vest open, shirtless, and it just looked so out of place amongst the crowd. You're like, normal person, Logan Paul. It would have been in his wrestling gear.
Wouldn't it have been fantastic if he entered the ring to congratulate his brother, and then Ricochet gave him a 450 off the top of the cage?
It was the first time in wrestling history that a match started in Detroit and ended in Dallas on the same night.
That'd be yeah. Because the parking lot, the Hollywood Brawl with Goldust and Roddy Piper would come close, but they didn't cross state lines.
Oh no! So, they just covered a few blocks.
Yeah, really.
This is So.
I will say this last thing about Logan Paul though.
Mm-hmm.
How mad do you think Stephen Amell is?
Oh, because you think Stephen Amell wanted this spot?
Well, Stephen Amell is probably like, "Hey, I'm the pretty good looking guy who's an actor, kinda, that likes wrestling a lot. That's me. Remember me, Cody?
Well,
SummerSlam. I did that." And everyone was like, "Oh, he's better than I thought they were going to be." So I made a show about it, and it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, Heels isn't good? Heels has been on my want to watch list for a very long time.
Let me put it to you this way. If it was good, you probably would have watched it.
Oh, damn.
Or you would have had a lot more people urging you to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Yellowstone. None of us really wanted to watch Yellowstone. We just couldn't take hearing about Yellowstone anymore. So finally, we're like, fine, I'll check out Yellowstone. And now all we do is talk about Yellowstone.